And I light another one and I'm smoking it. And mind you, I'm high as fuck already, but I want to take one more toke. And so I'm smoking. I'm about to take a toke. So I turn to the left and the fucking bush starts smoking.
Oh my God.
So I'm high. I don't know what the fuck to do. Do you know what I did? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, arigato gozaimasu. Happy New Year, everybody. I said,
새해 복 많이 받으세요.
새해 복 많이 받으세요. I would bow, but my knees are bad. I said I wasn't going to do a podcast this weekend, but John Na opened up an extra slot for us, so we're going to knock out 3 today, so you guys have at least podcasts for the next 3 weeks. Appreciate you, John. I'm going to suck your dick later. Yeah.
Thank you.
Whether you want it or not, dude, I don't give a fuck. But, yeah, it's been a while since we've potted. Dude, how crazy has the last, 4 or 5 days been?
Talk about the last 3 weeks since we last recorded, but just the last 4 or 5 days, like you say, what the fuck?
It's pretty. So there's so much to talk about. I mean, we're gonna do this within 40 minutes, but I could probably talk about this for hours. So where I live relatively close to the fires, right?
Yeah.
I don't live in Pasadena, but I live pretty close to it. It's when you I'm kind of speechless because it's hard to describe to people who have never been that close to a disastrous fire how fucking frightening it is. It is so frightening because those first of all, as we're talking about this is day 4, 0% containment on both of the major fires burning on both ends of Los Angeles. 0%.
Really? I thought it was 3% when the last I saw.
Oh, was it 3% starting today?
At the least. Come on, give him 3.
There was the one that they stopped was the Sunset one.
Yeah, there was some fucking arson going on. That shit, that's arson. The Kenneth, Van Nuys area. Yeah, that was arson. I mean, there's some sick motherfuckers out there. But anyway, there are thousands of firefighters out there right now.
Superheroes.
There are 800 inmate firefighters. They're like, hey, want to
reduce your
fresh air? I don't know about reduced sentencing as of now, but they're getting paid at least. But it's $10 an hour, you know. 14th Amendment, you know. Fire.
Bow.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they're fucking going through it, man. Yeah, it's not fresh air at the end of the day.
Yeah, so, when I found out that the fire was happening, at first you LA gets a lot of fires. Every year there is a fire.
Yeah.
Right?
Someone throws a fucking cigarette butt out their window.
Some type of electrical issue, something happens. And so it's not that when these fires happen, I don't freak out myself or I'm like, oh shit, something's happening. But nothing has ever been to this scale.
Yeah, because there isn't hurricane force winds in the middle of these embers going off.
So at the beginning of the pandemic, there was another huge fire. There was the Santa Monica fires.
Yeah.
And that shit was terrible, right? That to scale is nothing like what's happening now. And when that happened, I recorded a video just to record the ash falling. And by the way, that's all the way 30 miles away from us. Mm-hmm. And the winds brought the ash over all the way at the time when I was living in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And I remember we had our filters on. We couldn't walk outside without our eyes burning. And that's what it was like for me for the last 2 days.
All right.
Our power went out. We had no fucking electricity. I have a newborn, by the way, which made it very, very difficult. But we made it through. The fire originally started around Eaton Canyon, right? And that's a place that I hike a lot at. It's one of my favorite hikes. It started when I looked at it at 100 acres, and then it went to 1,000, 5,000, and then it went from 1,000 to 2,000, and then within 2 hours, it went from a 2,000 acre forest fire to 10,000.
Yeah.
In 2 fucking hours.
Yeah, look, we've all been around campfires, but I mean, the sheer terror of the way it's spreading because of how dry LA is right now, the fucking almost nearly 60 mile per hour winds, right? Dude, what was it like for you in the middle of that?
So when it started,
the windstorm was insane.
The windstorm was nuts. So I had to go outside in our small little yard. And by the way, it's contained by other condos. Mm-hmm. It was blowing so hard. I thought that our patio door was going to fall in.
Right.
Because it was going we could literally see it undulate, like boom, 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 boom. So I was scared that the thing was going to fall and shatter. So I had no idea what was going on. That alone was fucking nuts, right? I've never experienced wind like that before. And so...
Same. I don't think I've ever experienced a windstorm like that in a while, but that's what everyone's saying. Of course, climate change, more extreme weather patterns. And dude, I heard a loud crash outside, and it was my fucking hardtop from my Miata. I took it off earlier this week so I can do some interior cleaning. And I set it off to the side, put a tarp over it, fucking flew away. Thank God it got caught on the neighboring fence.
Oh.
So I grabbed that shit and brought it inside.
What did you grab that you started flying in the air?
Yeah, it was damn near close. I'm like, it was, like you carry your umbrella, it's gonna, this is a hard top.
Yep.
So, yeah, I had to control the way I was holding it, so let it aerodynamically go over me.
The wind was fucking insane. And so if you guys saw that was going on, and I remember this podcast from Joe Rogan, which I think it was earlier last year or mid last year, he was talking about a fighter friend that he has.
Yeah.
And he was saying that it's only a matter of time in California before the whole, before Los Angeles, before the whole city goes up in flames. Mm-hmm. And he specifically talked about the wind patterns, and it just takes the right amount of wind and one fucking ignition.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening right now.
And there's nothing
you can do about it.
You can do about it. That's the nature of this kind of level of disaster.
20,000 acres of straight forest fire burns. And the crazy thing,
Manhattan is 14,000 acres.
Basically, if Manhattan was burning down.
Yeah, the entire island.
It's so nuts. And then on top of that, with the Palisades too, so you guys heard about this too with the whole insurance thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Because of the fires that happen so often in California, for insurance companies, money-wise, it doesn't make sense for them. So I guess last year they decided not to give out fire insurance, specific ones, right? I don't know which insurance companies did, but a lot of people didn't look for another insurance company to get fire insurance to a certain degree. But even then, from what I was reading, the ones that are available, these are $15-20 million homes. They only cover $2 million, $3 million, $1 million.
Yeah.
You're not getting anywhere near your investment back.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Fix the pipes?
Exactly.
We will rebuild brick by brick.
Yeah. It's so bad. And when you look at the footage from Lahaina that happened out in Maui, which is fucking devastating, it looks almost identical.
Yeah.
It's so insane how bad it is. And I'm not even saying this as an exaggeration, because we've seen this on media so much. We've seen the war out in Ukraine. We've seen the stuff that's happening out in the Middle East, in Gaza. People were doing side-by-side comparisons of aerial shot. It looks just like
bombed out.
Yeah.
But in Gaza, I've never seen it on fire though. To the degree where you saw blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of deteriorated, burnt down homes.
Yeah.
That is literally looks like this is the end. It's a fucking comedy movie about the apocalypse.
Yeah,
but it was set in L.A., so it's that's what it looks like.
It's literally, I could drive when I drove to the Altadena. I'm not sure if I was supposed to drive in there.
Yeah,
but I wanted to see it, and a part of me was thinking look, okay, this is a part of history. I shoot film, so I'm maybe I should shoot the film to see the aftermath. It was so heartbreaking. I didn't take a photo. It's I couldn't snap a photo.
Yeah,
it's just you're watching people go through the rubble and trying to find remnants of their past. I don't even think they were looking for furniture or anything worth of actual money value.
Yeah.
They're looking for sentimental value.
Yeah.
Whether it was photo books, whether it was their kids' clothes, whatever the fuck that it is. And you just see that. It is so sad. You're watching people at the lowest point of their lives. There are videos right now. Oh, I saw this video of this old man where in East Pasadena, he's lived in that home for 60 years. So he bought that home in his 30s. Yeah. Or when he was 30 years old, he's 91 years old. He's basically at the tail end of his life. His whole life was in that house, and it all went up in flames. 60 years. He didn't even let it process. And as the person's interviewing him, so it's how do you feel? He goes, I haven't processed it yet.
Yeah.
And as he's talking, he's he says verbally, it's hitting me right now. And he starts bawling. It's dude, how can we what do you say?
Yeah.
They're not going to get that back. You don't get any of that stuff back. And this is him 91 years old.
Yeah.
And they're just completely devastated and gone.
Yeah.
And so now we're watching now we're starting to understand, like when people talk about Los Angeles, and I know like people who live in Los Angeles, like you love your city, right? And I love Los Angeles too. But I hope people are kind of getting like, okay, maybe we should focus on things that are a little important here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fire that happens in Los Angeles every fucking year. It's usually around the summertime in October. Every fucking year. They cut the budget. The fire force budget in the Palisades area or something like that by like $10 million. It was a ridiculous amount of money.
I thought I read it, just L.A. County alone
County.
is $17 million.
Oh my fucking God, dude.
But before we get angry at that, LA's broke. They have like a $200 million deficit right now.
That's insane.
That's how much under budget we are, right? And then they audited themselves this past year.
Okay.
Right? Or past couple years. The LAPD has overspent by $120 million.
That's
their
crazy.
budget. But what's their budget anyway? Isn't it $800 million?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, like it's not. It might be over $1 billion, to be honest. But that's what happened. And then they looked at all the other departments, and look, LAFD overspent by tens of millions too. But it's like not like the LAPD did, but they had to make up for all of that money that's gone, and that's the brunt of what, you know, the LAFD had to face in budget cuts, you know. And like that's why I don't want to blame. Look, okay, I wanted to bring this up really quickly, but have you got to The Wire yet?
No.
In later seasons, it gets down to like the municipalities of the city itself. Yeah. So you see how the mayoral race works and how the mayor's office works. And then I was like, I will never shit on another mayor again.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's so much more complicated than we can understand. Like these budget issues, like how can we expect this? And the Mayor Karen Bass was elected with a lot of the heat on the conservative side that she has to cater to like, hey, look at our budget, fix this. And this is the move she made. And then I saw the interview. So it's like, you cut the budget by $17 million. Blah, blah, blah. Is it a good time for her as the mayor to say, well, you should know the LAFD overspent by $20 million last year.
Yeah.
You know, we gave them $3 million more technically in budget. It's not a good time to say that. She stood there in silence and just took her talking to.
Yeah.
And now everyone has a narrative for it. It's like, I just hope that we can all be smart enough to understand the deeper
I don't think it's like, I think the average dumb person will blame a single individual.
Yeah.
I think now when you look at government, it's never a single individual.
No.
It has never ever been like that. The honest, like to God, like there's no blame that I want to place, but I do want people to think about this, right? You guys give so much shits about presidential elections. You don't give a shit about your local elections at all.
Yeah.
You don't vote on local shit. You don't vote on stuff in your own fucking neighborhood, and you complain all the time.
District, you don't know where your taxes are going
at all. And guess what? The stuff that impacts you the most is the place where you shit, eat, and sleep, you fucking tards.
Yeah.
You guys are so stupid. It's like, you didn't vote for okay, I get that, right?
Yeah.
But you don't even vote for local shit. So it's like, you have no right to say it. And that's the stuff that affects our day to day. And so like when we talk about stuff like this, right, there's a bigger issue here. And we've always talked about like the homeless issue, right? How much money did we put into the homeless situation? And I'm not saying that's not a problem.
And now everyone's homeless.
Now everybody's homeless.
Anyway, sorry. We got to laugh at something. Anyway.
You know what we can laugh at? We can laugh at that Mexican dude that was interviewed randomly.
Oh, you blamed it on the gays?
Yo, that's the only fucking video that I saw of the fire that actually made me cry laughing. They're like, excuse me, sir. It's like, hey, what's going on? Is there like a fire or something?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you know who we blame? The gays.
This is the gays.
Goes, all right, sir, that's enough. Yeah. That's inappropriate. Yo, shout out to that guy, dude. Fucking idiot.
So fucking dumb. But like, I mean, like, there's some things like, okay, here's a thought. Is the worst thing to think, but with all of that space in Altadena now, was like, man, now you can build a Costco and relieve all that fucking.
There's a Costco in Altadena.
There is?
Yeah, there's a Costco in Altadena.
I had no idea. I could have just
that
gone
one
towards
sucks.
Oh, it does.
It's so packed. It's busier than the one in Alhambra.
Oh, okay. Then I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, the Altadena one is fucking busy, dude.
Oh,
like
shit.
it's so there's two. I went to almost every Costco in the LA area.
So it's just LA is just like just not going to survive.
No.
Costco.
It's the only one that's decently not that busy is the Los Feliz one.
Right. Anyways, back to the people who are suffering.
No Costco.
Yeah. We will rebuild brick by brick.
Yeah, when you go to the air, so like when I was trying to drive by, like it was just so devastating to see. And you know, when I see some of the there's like some influencers right now.
I saw some of those videos, man.
It's the BLM riots all over again. We're like, it's always like some hot bitch.
Yeah.
It's not like the regular influencers that are
smoke billowing and they're using it as their backdrop.
It's like always the random hot girls that just has like they just find a burning car and they somehow sexy pose in front of it. How the fuck? Yo, who raised you? And then people get mad at them and they go, why are you so sensitive?
I would love to see one of them out there with a fucking fire hose, like a fire hydrant. What are those spraying?
Yeah.
God, one of them right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just trying to put out a fire in the fucking midst of all of that chaos and take a photo.
It's just, how can you make a disaster where hundreds of thousands of people lost their homes and a few people died and you somehow made it about how hot you are?
Yeah.
Like,
it's always a way to make it about you. I want to dedicate this workout to all the victims.
Let me tell you something. if there's no way you're going to heaven and I'm not. All right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way, bitch. I saw our buddy Tom posted this one where this girl was doing, we're in California. Of course there's like a fucking and she's like standing next to a burnt down car, like in Altadena. She goes, we're in California. Of course we're da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, how fucking obtuse are you? And she's mad at everybody else for being too sensitive.
I don't know. I think it's just the Gen Z level of, what's that word I'm looking for where nothing fucking matters? What's that word? Apathy? Yeah, literally like nothing matters, so you can just make fun
do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Yeah, not anarchy exactly, but it's cynicism.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what their humor is.
Yeah,
I think where it's like the dog in that burning room meme.
Yeah,
this is fine, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, my perfect opportunity to be funny or something.
Well, the only problem with people who think like that is that 100% of the time, 10 out of 10, you can't handle it when it happens to you. That's the problem. Like with people like that, because with that girl, the Ukrainian girl, she was like, I'm from Ukraine. I came to California. It's just the same as Ukraine. It's like, yeah, good joke. But like, good joke. She, like, let's say for that girl, right? She had cancer. And then she had to go to chemotherapy and she lost all of her hair, right? This girl who predicates herself on her looks. And then everybody starts making fun of her, right? They go, well, at least you never have to use shampoo ever again.
Right.
And then do you think she'll be like, oh, shit, dude, you take a good opportunity to make fun. I appreciate that because you're not sensitive. No, you would be bawling your eyes out on your deathbed. So it's like people who say stuff like that, look, I get it. I understand comedy. We could joke about anything, but there's also time and place. Right. Time and place is a huge part of comedy that a lot of non-funny people don't understand. There's a reason why your jokes don't fucking hit because it wasn't done in an acceptable time and an acceptable place. Right. Like, remember Ari Shaffir when he tried to make the joke about Kobe after his daughter and him died in a helicopter crash?
Like hours after.
Literally hours after, and he called him a piece of shit. It's like, come on. Like, who was this intended for? And then how is anybody supposed to fucking find this funny?
That's the weird thing about what's going on out there. He is still to this day unapologetic, but even down to how he spiked what's his face, Bert Kreischer.
Oh yeah,
he's still unapologetic with that.
He's a sociopath. He's fucking nuts.
Yeah, there's a level of sociopathy like to that because there's Andrew Schultz who's catching heat for the Kendrick comments.
Yeah.
Right? But he's not going to say sorry because of his, what do you call that? Unwritten law as a comedian.
Of a comedian, yeah.
Yeah, the Ari Shaffir thing was just like, dude, what? Like you're just trying to hurt people?
Yeah, well, it's like,
what part of it was like,
joke?
Ha ha ha?
Where's the joke? Like,
where's the ha ha ha?
And like, see, that's the problem with like that I have with a lot of comics who kind of go into that realm is that they're always saying that it's everybody else. I'm okay. It's everybody else is. I'm like, we're not talking about cancel culture type of shit, right?
Oh, everyone else is too soft.
Yeah, everybody else just doesn't get my comedy.
There's the irony of Andrew Schultz calling Kendrick woke. It's like, dog. The idea of what woke means in the first place compared to what you're calling him to be woke is where the bastardization of the word is personified in you too.
100%. I 100% agree with that. And I think like sometimes too, when they kind of get in their own little circles and they don't hang around like just regular fucking people, they forget that you're in like a weird, you guys are all fucking sociopaths and weirdos.
Yeah.
I understand that too. This happens to me a lot. I hang out with like my comic buddies, like we're around each other for like a week and I go into a regular conversation with somebody else. I go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm pretty inappropriate, right? Because for us, it's almost like a verbal game, right? So we either try to one-up each other or we're thinking of funny shit all the time.
Yeah.
And it's very, very fun. But it's only intended for a very specific audience that knows what's going on.
Right.
When you start saying that to the general public, you're just a fucking asshole.
I'm not laughing. You're making us angry.
Yeah. It's like, it wasn't thought-provoking either. So like my thing is that I always try to look at it. It's like, okay, what was the angle? Was it like trying to be thought-provoking? It's like, oh, you're just being a troll.
Yeah.
That's it. Which is literally the lowest form of comedy. Like being a troll and an asshole. And that's what people are confusing with it now. They go, oh, I'm just saying the stuff that people won't say. It doesn't mean that it's good.
That's what drives me crazy about what's happening on Instagram is that people are beating the algorithm by putting up misinformation.
Yes.
So that there would be engagement in the comments.
Yeah.
And they knowingly know it's false information.
Yeah.
Right? And they act dumb. And that's where it's like, this is not good.
Yeah.
For our society. Like, this is just, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I just fucking hate about that makes me like, you know what then? Like, why am I complaining? This shit, I'm the one doom scrolling.
Dude, you know what the funniest thing too is like, when I see some of like the older friends and they go on Instagram and they start complaining about things, it's like, dude, you're so old.
Yeah.
Like
you're being an old head right now.
Yeah, you're being such a fucking old head. It's unreal. Like when they don't understand what algorithms are.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is what the whole world is like. Or you keep watching the same fucking bullshit all the time.
And they keep feeding it back to you.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that's popping up. Like I keep having these conversations with them. They're like, it's like, well, you're acting like you don't see it. I don't see it. Because I don't click on that type of shit.
Yeah.
I only have Down syndrome people cooking on my fucking Instagram. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I see. For some reason, people with Down syndrome is like my main feed.
Yeah.
So that's what I see.
It's like, I mean, Instagram's the one that gave it to me, all right?
Yeah. So I had a conversation with a buddy of mine where he's like, he was asking if I was okay and whatever. He's like, oh, do you see like these fucking people just like shitting on us people in LA, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I haven't read any of those comments. If anything else, I've only read like stuff of people like, yo, prayers up, like a lot of positive shit.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are you talking? And he like screen capped one comment out of like 4,000. It's like, so you keep looking for it. So you ignored like the majority of it and you just focused on the one?
Well, I understand. Maybe, yeah, that'd be a dumb thing. But once again, my X feed, aka Twitter, is once again, it's not because I like right-sided shit. It gets pushed to me, and it's always some bullshit that I don't believe. So I'll keep scrolling. But it gets dangerous when you read it and you're like, President Trump says Gavin Newsom should resign over this. Huh? A natural disaster? Right? Like, how many natural disasters happened under your presidency?
Yeah.
Even me, I'm biased. I hate Trump. I hate who he is. If he was the mayor of LA, there's no reason for me to blame Trump for what's happened.
I think everybody just hates Gavin Newsom in general.
Yeah.
Like, he is literally, policy-wise, most Californians hate him.
Sure, but what does he have to do with what happened here in LA?
I have no idea.
And what's burning, right? Yeah. Like, and they're saying, oh, it's because of some kind of thing that happened on some land, and it's like federal land. That means you're the president. That's your job.
Yeah.
That kind of shit, you know. The water tank levels. So why did they go down? Because there was fires everywhere, and they depleted because the tanks are up on the mountains and they use gravity for pressure. All these things, and like, it's okay. So how do you refill it? How do you get water back up there? Through a pump. Okay. So what happened through all of the windstorms? The power went out.
Yeah.
So there's no fucking water. Things like that. This is like the worst case scenario disaster happened. And you want to point fingers, you know, at the leadership, right? I already know that things like this cause huge change for the future of this city or even the country or yada yada, you know. And I'm just saying, like, I get the facts right. You know, get the facts straight.
Nobody cares about the facts.
Yeah.
The hard part is like, I really do believe a lot of people, a majority of people in Los Angeles, I wonder if there's like a poll that they could take. Most people here are transplants.
Yeah.
Right? And the people who are vocal here are transplants. Mm-hmm. But they don't care about this city. They're ready to dump the city and leave whenever they want.
They care about themselves.
Yeah. So it's like
how loud they can be.
Exactly. So when you have a city that's made up of a majority of the people who don't actually care about what happens here, they don't vote for the stuff that's here. They don't give a shit at all. And so for us, when I kind of look at everything from my perspective, I'm just wondering, I want to know beyond all this other stuff is where the fuck is our money going? That's all I want to know. Mm-hmm. Why do we have hundreds of millions of dollars in debt where we can't put it into the facilities and the people that are very necessary to keep this city healthy? Why is it that a city that is literally probably, people don't even know Sacramento exists and that's the capital? Yeah. They think that Los Angeles is the capital. There are so many people here in this fucking city that are living here, that are making money, that are working. So where the fuck is our money going? I don't understand how the system works. That's the frustration that I have.
Okay, so I was a little bit involved in community stuff when I was living in K-Town. And then you'll learn little things like there was another district that was siphoning money out of K-Town.
What the fuck?
Yeah, down south, below the 10. And if you saw the district lines at the time, you'd be like, excuse me? Because it was like this, mm-hmm. and then went all the way up western, connected to K-Town. So all these taxes were like helping fund this underprivileged neighborhood. Like, we should fund underprivileged neighborhood. But siphoning it from our community is what's upsetting. Yeah. Because it wasn't even our vote.
Yeah.
You know, like, so there were issues like that happened, right? And that's literally a county-wide problem. And that's why you look at Santa Monica. They're literally their own county and city.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills is literally its own county and city.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you look at the maps, they're just blank.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not part of LA.
That's crazy.
That sense, you know? So it's like, so you got to change your area code.
Yeah.
To see where that money's going. Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I wonder if people understand like how prevalent like government corruption and like
in LA
money laundering is. So it's ridiculous, right? Like
it seems so blatant too.
And then nobody cares.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not even that nobody cares. Nobody knows how to fix it. So it's like, why even stress about it? If this is the status quo, me stressing about it every day literally does nothing, then what's the whole fucking point? Because that's how I kind of feel sometimes, right? Like, let me just put this in perspective. When I used to live in South Pasadena, I did this walk. When I was first losing weight, I did that walk every fucking day. And I liked this area because it was nice and clean. Mm-hmm. Fucking dope. Shit you fucking not. Before the kid was born, I was going on, you know, the few walks that I can when I don't have a kid. I drove to South Pasadena, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this walk. I go there, broad fucking daylight. There's like fucking 4 crackheads literally smoking crack
From glass pipe.
in front of kids at a library.
Wow.
Like in a family fucking area.
Yeah.
It's like there's a mattress like on the floor of like some fucking rando just sleeping in the middle of the grass, where they dragged a mattress in front of this place where kids are playing. And then nobody says anything. They're just like, oh, no, it's okay. It's like, you guys don't even protect your own fucking community. Like, I understand if it's like a homeless person that's just chilling, whatever. There's 4 people smoking crack.
Near a school zone.
Literally. It's so in Pasadena.
The public libraries.
In the public library, every Thursday, there is the South Pasadena Farmers Market that goes on.
Right.
It was at the farmers market.
That's what happens. I go to school on Thursdays, and then I always get to that fucking road, and I'm like, oh, I can't take this road. That's what happens on Thursdays.
So it's the farmers market. It's there every Thursday. It's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Fucking like 4 people smoking crack. And then everybody's just watching them and not saying anything. So you guys don't even give a shit about your own community to even stop that and be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Right? So for me, the first time I saw that happen was with me and Ray. I wasn't sure, right? But then because I've lived in K-Town and the heart of Los Angeles, I know what fucking crack smells like.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, is that person smoking crack? I'm like, there's no fucking way. And then as me and Ray are walking, we were like, I think they were smoking fucking crack. And so the next time I was walking by myself on a Thursday, same person, but now there's 3 more of them. I walk over, I'm like, what are you doing? Are you fucking smoking crack? And then now people like suddenly have a voice and they're like, yeah, get out of here. It's like, dog,
right.
They've been here for like how long? Like, what were you doing? Your kids are literally right there.
Right.
And so it's like, why do I have to be the asshole? Right? Because the other fear that I have is some fucking liberal fuck's going to come up to me like, leave them alone. And then now I got to knock you out too.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Right? So it's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, why do I have to go up and be like, are you smoking crack? And say it hella loud?
Well, you also practice martial arts on a weekly basis. So if they had a knife, I think you would have been prepared. But I think the average person, look, when I tell my stories of me stepping up to these people back at my gas station, and I talk about how crazy I went, like, I'm not over exaggerating it. Like, I would go crazy.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, they're way more docile than the average person is way more docile than we think. And so when I would go crazy, I know they'd be like, oh, I don't want to fuck with crazy. And they'd walk away. And that was, for me, maybe not the wisest way to get shit done, but then for the average person, it was just like, get away from me. But then if you can stand up to that too in the first place,
let me tell you something.
Someone will just need a little bit of courage to be like, get out. We need to change our neighborhoods.
Let me tell you something, man. You could stand up to anybody on crack. It's crack. They're not there. If it's meth,
right?
I might be like, oh shit.
Meth will get you in trouble.
These motherfuckers are cracked. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like I'm telling you, me to you. There's literally a kid right there. It's just like I kind of felt like you guys are all just like complacent, and plus your fathers, your mothers. You guys don't give a shit about your fucking kid? That
reminded me of like, in Vancouver, BC, back when I was in high school, in Canada. So this was decades before, and I was out there and I saw people just shooting up heroin, smoking meth, smoking crack, doing drugs out in the open, in the alleyways, on the streets, on the sidewalk, in the parks. That blew my fucking mind. I was like, wow, Canada's a lot worse than I thought, And then all of a sudden it took a while, but something happened where we're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let them do drugs in our parks, because where else? If they don't do it in the parks, they're gonna do it at Chuck E. Cheese.
It's literally
what are you talking
dumbest fucking thing ever that people say, and it infuriates me.
Yeah.
When they do that, they like, well, if we don't give it to them, they'll get it somewhere else. Well, tell them to get it somewhere else. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
They're like, they're going to get it anyways. Yeah, but it'll be a lot fucking harder. And they're like, well, what if they get it from a bad source and they die? Oh, well. Oh, well, then they fucking die.
That's the game? I don't
Life
know.
is about choices.
Yeah.
When you do a drug that can kill you, guess what? The chances are you might die.
You might die.
It's just the stupidest. They think it's humane. It's not fucking humane. Like, the way that you put your care and attention to should be about the people who are around you, right? These people who make their choices, who don't give a fuck, let them not give a fuck. But why does it have to come out of my pocket? And by the way, for anybody who wants to judge me, suck my fucking dick.
Yeah.
All right? I don't talk about the shit that I do. When I first came to Los Angeles, I was volunteering at homeless shelters. I grew up in a church. So don't talk to me about where I put my time and my fucking money. Every fucking year, I donate all the clothes that I don't use, shoes, whatever, whatnot, and I donate it every fucking year. All the time. Sacramento soup kitchens, everything. So don't talk to me about shit. All you fucking not doing shit motherfuckers that come out of nowhere whenever a disaster happens. Get the fuck out of my face.
See, I just had this conversation a few hours earlier today with Dan, where I was literally like, dude, look at my past life as a missionary. In my heart of hearts, I truly believed that God loves us. Not just me, every single soul on this planet, right? So then in my head, I was like, that means God cares about the poor, hurting people in Iraq that had nothing to do with 9/11. It's like, fucking went. That's what I believed. Mm-hmm. And I kept doing that. Like, dude, Haiti is literally the worst country on the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
You know? And then they had earthquake. You know?
It's like, dude.
That's literally the situation.
It's like one of those situations.
Yeah.
Hey, it can't get any worse from here.
Yeah. It's like that. And that's why I felt compelled and I went, you know. Call me a bleeding heart. But a part of that mindset being that I believe me coming up blessed is that there's someone who is not blessed, who has nothing. And I have an overfilled cup.
Yeah.
I can help.
Yeah.
You know, that's the mentality. And then when you stop being a missionary and you're just like, there's this, I don't know, something that happens, like I got to go back out there.
Yeah.
And then you got to turn that back into your community.
Yeah.
The community is your mission field now.
Yeah.
You know, when it was Tacoma, when it was Seattle, it was like LA. Okay. And then when you're at this, like you say, you're at the soup kitchens and you're out there trying to help, man. Some people don't want to be helped. Yeah. They just want your shit.
Yeah.
You know, as hard as you want to help and try and like pass all the legislation you can, like we're trying to get you free health care. Fuck you. Give me my heroin.
Yeah.
You know, it's what do you do?
Nobody wants to hear about that shit, though.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about that stuff. Hey,
because if you're at the front lines, you'd see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If any of you have actually volunteered in Los Angeles, I'm talking about in Skid Row, they give you a breakdown of where you spend your time and how you help people. Because what happens there, and remember I told this story where I got literally spat on. Somebody fucking spit in my fucking face.
Wow.
So this is not everybody, right? But when you're at Skid Row, they are drug addicts.
Yeah.
And you're trying to give them a sandwich. They don't want a sandwich. They want drugs.
Yeah.
They can get food. There is soup kitchens. There's food. There's sandwiches everywhere for them. Food is there for them all the time. Shelter too. They have it. They want to be there, right? Not all of them, but specifically Skid Row. It is a very weird and unique situation. So yeah, I'm down to help people who want to get off their feet, but you would be very much surprised in Los Angeles how a lot of them, the part where they're down on the floor doing drugs, that's what they like. Mm-hmm. And then you create this narrative, we got to help them. You can't help people who don't want to be helped.
Oh God, perfect example. I'm walking down K-Town and man, I can't believe this happened twice, and both times at different 7-Elevens on the other sides of K-Town. I'm walking with my old roommate from back in the day, and this is 6th Street in the Plaza with Blue, that 7-Eleven. And on the side of the street, there's a lady laying on her stomach, just kind of, you know, looking up, but laying down, you know? And there's just another dude just on the wall, right? And she's making eye contact with me, and I'm just like walking, right? And she's still looking, and then next thing I know, I'm about to step and piss. And it's the source.
From her?
From her.
Oh my God.
She's laying belly down, legs out, pussy out,
Just peeing.
and making eye contact with me. And
Demon.
I literally like, holy fucking shit, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Another
That
time.
happened twice,
yeah.
dude.
So now, okay, second time I'm at Beverly, and I forget if I was walking somewhere, running somewhere, but I'm walking. There's 7-Eleven on Beverly. Same thing. I see just a puddle. I'm gonna step over. I look at the source. There's a dude sitting up against the wall, and there's just pee coming down his leg. You want to help? Oh, here's some toilet paper.
Yeah.
How do I help? How do you help them? Right?
What do you do?
What do you do? Where they're not even going to pull their pants down and find privacy to pee.
Yeah.
They have no decency even for themselves.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, if you're a Christian, you'd be down there and be like, hey, man, you're worthy, man. You're worthy to be loved. You know, and if you loved yourself, you would take a shower.
Yeah.
Kind of, you would get them there. But that's why I'm not a Christian anymore, because I don't want to do that stuff. So I don't know about you motherfuckers out there that call yourselves Christians. That's what you should be doing. But I heard there's like 1 million Christians in LA. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
No, but they're not doing anything at all.
Yeah. If this was a Christian nation, LA would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The whole nation would be fine. But we're not. Let's stop bullshitting ourselves.
Yeah. I started like, when people hear this, I think they just need to come here.
Yeah.
It's like, I need you to go to Skid Row, and I want you to see it for yourself. And I'm not telling people to stop helping where they can help, but I'm going to help people who want help, right? I'm not going to give out help and charity to people who are trying to use and abuse the system and then use and abuse me. Like, that's not happening, right? I could try my best, and if they don't want it, they don't want it. But there are people out there who are down and out who need help. And guess what? If they need a hand, I'll help them out. I got no fucking problem, right? And like, the funny thing is too, like, when we have these conversations, it's like, I remember I used to get messages just like, well, how come? It's like, well, you're out here doing videos about you in Hawaii and stuff. What about you helping people? It's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. Every time I give $1 to somebody, or I'm at the homeless shelter, or I'm donating clothes, I gotta.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm doing something good. I've been doing this since I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's just a part of my life. So don't wait for the other person to virtue signal for you to go and do something. Just make it a part of your life.
Yeah.
That's all that it fucking is. Do you know what I do on a regular basis? I know this sounds so stupid and you guys might not believe me. Anytime I have a can or something or bottles, I have a bag in my car and I store and I crush them because I know there's people here who go through the garbage at the gas stations and they look for cans and bottles. So I take those bags and I give it to them so they don't have to dig through the garbage. I do that every time. I just did it today.
Yeah.
So it's like
the best way to recycle.
It's the best way to fucking recycle. Give it to somebody who needs the money.
Yeah.
So there are things that I have done forever. I just didn't do the social media route for it. Right? Because, you grew up in a Christian household. This is just the shit that you fucking do. So it's just like the virtue signaling stuff always bothers me. I get that you have to do it sometimes to motivate other people to do it, but don't sit there and shit on somebody else because they're not doing stuff the way that you feel like they should do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what people are doing on the regular.
Yeah. Right?
Just fucking mind your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say this before we end this podcast. You know what the funniest thing was? I was going to mention this off the top, but but like when the LA fires were happening, I started laughing, not because of the fires, because of something I did the day before. So we have a live-in nanny with us right now.
Yeah.
But I have trouble sleeping, but she's here so I could sleep. So Mariel's thing is like, look, I need you to get sleep because during the daytime I need your help. So one of us has to get good sleep. She has to wake up every 2 or 3 hours to feed the baby. She goes, I just want you to sleep, which means I can smoke. So I could rest really well. So it's like 12 a.m. I'm in my fucking, my bathrobe and I go out to smoke. I have to go all the way out because I don't want the nanny who's very Christian to know I'm smoking weed. Right. Because it'll be a long conversation. I'm not down for it. So, I don't want her to be like, yeah, you going to hell? You know, I don't want to deal with that.
It's called a temacho, devil smoke.
I know. Temacho, devil. So I would go out and I would sneak out at 12 a.m. And I got this weed from a buddy of mine. It's strong as shit. So I took it, and I'm high as fuck. I'm just outside, just like looking at the sky, like, oh, I have a son. God has blessed me with so many good things. Thank you, God. And then I'm smoking, and then the bong, the one that you recommended me, the brass part, it got clogged.
Okay.
Right? So in this area of the complex, it's away from other stuff, but there's like a bush. And so I smoke, it gets clogged, and then there's like an ember in there. I didn't know, and so I blow it out, and it
Oh no!
goes into the bush. But the bush is green. It doesn't have any dry stuff, or so I thought. And so I'm sitting there, and I light another one, and I'm smoking it. And mind you, I'm high as fuck already, but I want to take one more toke. And so I'm smoking. I'm about to take a toke. So I turn to the left, and the fucking bush starts smoking.
Oh my God.
So I'm high. I don't know what the fuck to do. Do you know what I did? I just jumped into the bush and I put out the fire with my body. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
And you're just wearing a bathrobe?
I'm wearing a bathrobe, so I'm like Batman. I just like jumped into the fucking bush because I didn't know where the ember went.
Yeah.
So I just knew the fucking bush was smoking. So I just like rummaged in there and I fucking took it out. I came out, my shit was all scratched the fuck up. Mariel was like, what happened? Like, the next day she goes, did you get hurt? I'm like, no, I'm fine. I fucking almost lit my complex on fire from smoking.
Oh, dude.
I would have been the fucking Eaton Canyon fire.
Yeah.
There's so much dry brush everywhere.
Everything is fucking dry and dusty. It literally reminded me of the dust storms in Iraq.
Dude,
that storm.
You could
just like, what the fuck?
If there's enough dust in the air, you just light it, it'll all light on fire.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
It's horrible. All the ash on the ground, too. It's, ugh.
Yeah. So if you guys would have saw like a fire in that area, it would have been me.
Yeah.
But guess what? I sacrificed my body. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank God. Thank God. 'Cause it would have been if it was you and
Dude, if it was me, I would never admit. I would still do this podcast. I would still do this podcast and be like, dude, whoever started that shit, a fucking piece of shit, huh?
Yeah, I lost my home and everything.
Yeah. I would have had a GoFundMe, even though it was I'm the one who lit my house on fire. Well, guys, that wraps up this podcast. You can catch Genius Brain every Sundays at 12 p.m. You can catch Ed at Ed Park VP and also Manga Miata. He has some updates for you there so you can see what he's doing and working on. Genius Brain every Sundays at 12 p.m. Secret Society, you can get all your fashion basics there. This corduroy hat that I have on is also from Secret Society. This is our custom spec oversized tees. As you can see, it looks very good. All Secret Society. See you guys next time. Peace.